Hey y'all, it's Eliza, and I'm going to be doing my presentation on chapters 35 and 36 from the Yes book. So I'm going to take these next 5 minutes to dive into those two different persuasion methods. So first, for chapter 35, I'm going to start off with a question, which is, what single word will strengthen your persuasion attempts? That word is because. Because is typically followed by some sort of rationale, which triggers something in your brain to either grant the request or sympathize with the person making the request, which in turn makes you want to grant their request. So in this example, there's a line of people at a copier, and someone is asking in 3 different ways if they can cut in line. And we're going to see the power of because in these 3 examples. So the first time she comes up, she asks simply, can I cut in line? Blank. And most likely the answer is no. Overwhelmingly, the answer is no, because she didn't really have a reason. She just asked if she could cut in line. So the second time she asks, she says, can I cut in line because I want to make copies? Well, because she said because and had a reason, it's more likely that more people will say yes than the first time, but still fairly obvious question or reason because they're all in the same line wanting to make copies. So the third time she asks, she says, can I cut in line because I'm in a hurry? And because she had a strong reason or rationale for needing to cut in line to make these copies, it's way more likely that the answer will be yes. So on to the next. So what are the stakes? So when the stakes are low, people are more likely to take a mental shortcut and just kind of grant the request because it probably isn't costing them much. It'll probably be quick. So usually it's just, I don't want to think too hard about this. Sure, the answer is yes. But when the stakes are higher, people take the strength of the requester's reasoning into more consideration when deciding how to respond to the request. So they stop and think about why this person asked or what the reason is, and they think a little bit more before they give an answer. So for example, going back to the copier example, for low stakes, you would say, can I cut in line because I need to make 5 copies? Well, 5 copies isn't too much. Sure, go ahead, it won't take too long. But when the stakes are higher, can I cut in line to make 20 copies? Oh, I don't know, 20 copies is a lot. The printer might jam, it'll take longer. The person has to stop and think through their response more thoroughly. So in conclusion for chapter 35, it's always important to pair requests with a strong rationale or reasoning, and to urge your customers to generate their own strong reason in endorsing your products or your position or your company to strengthen their beliefs in that position. All right, moving on to chapter 36, starting with another question. When might asking for all the reasons be a mistake? So a study showed that when an audience was asked to come up with reasoning to favor one company or one product or one position over another, instead of basing their reasoning on the number of advantages or disadvantages they could come up with, they actually based their answers on how easy or difficult it was to generate those reasons. So before asking your audience to come up with many reasons, like 5, 10, 20, on why they support your position or your product or your company, first consider how easy it will actually be for them to be able to do that. And if it seems like, that might be a little bit difficult to come up with that many reasons, just ask them to come up with one really strong reason or rationale on why they support or endorse your company or product. So on the flip side, you can gain a competitive edge from using this technique against your competitors by asking your audience to produce many reasons, 5, 10, 20, on why to favor a competing product. And we just saw from the last example that that's usually pretty hard for people to do. So the harder it is for them to do that, the better your product looks in comparison to your competitors. So in conclusion, for these chapters of 35 and 36, always accompany a request with a strong rationale or reason. Use because. Get your customers to use because. And then also get your audience to generate one really powerful and strong reason to believe in your company or product. Not many reasons, just one reason, because less is more.